Hi, my name is Tanya Sanders, and we're back with the basic tools lineup with this module series. The next one in line is the Google Docs use to collaborate with your students. The couple things that I'm going to show you are going to be related to all of the Google apps, so I'm going to give you some information about that, but the focus is primarily on the Google Doc. So I'm going to share the drive with you. So when I use docs, spreadsheets, slides, any of the tools that are part of the Google Drive suite or the Google Apps suite, the G Suite, any of these things, the drawings, the forms, sites, I go into my drive. I organize it through my drive. Now, if I move myself down here, the dot shows you, or the grid shows you that you can open a separate docs area. You can open a separate sheets area, slides. So all of these are separate apps. But I go to the, and I'll show you the docs area here in a little bit, but I go to my drive and then I create all of these folders that are going to hold all of those things. So if I want to go to my Finley folder, then I can see all of the things that I have saved for that specific file area, okay? And then I have it organized pretty well for me so I can find some things. You also have a search area up here that you can look for. So if I'm looking for a certificate that I created, it will bring up everything related to the word certificate. So I can sort that way. I can also, in my search, have specific advanced search techniques, criteria that I can look for those things as well. So I like to use the My Drive, and then like I said, I have all these folders that I've organized it into all the way through. And so what I'm advising you to do is, even if you do use the Google Docs area, which that's what this is, that's the separate app, make sure you're organizing these things that you're creating into a folder within your drive. You don't want to just have everything all over the place. So I'm going to go back to my drive and I'm going to create a folder called Testing YouTube Series. As soon as it creates the folder, it will put it in alphabetical order and it should bounce it right up to me. Now I go into that folder because everything that I create, I want it to go into that folder. So basically what I just did was I right-clicked in this folder. There's nothing in this folder. I could go to my desktop and drag things over if I like, but you can select any file type to put in here. You can put movies, you can put audio files, you can put Word documents, you can put Excel spreadsheets or PowerPoints. All of those things can be stored in here and it's in the cloud where you can access them anytime through your Google account. So the thing that most of my stuff I'm going to be doing in here is I'm going to create a Google Doc. And let me show you what that looks like here from this perspective. I also can do blank document, which is the default, which is what I did, or you can do from template, and then it'll take you to some templates that you may be able to utilize for your students. So these are templates that have been created by General is everybody, and NWOET is going to be anything that we've created. Okay, so these are the templates that you can utilize, and they're broken down by categories. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start from a blank one, and I do have a blank one here. It automatically opens a new tab, and it automatically puts it in the folder that I told it to. And I need to name it. So it's in a new tab and it's untitled. So I'm going to call it Practice for YouTube Series. Okay. So I have that in there, and as soon as I refresh this right here, it's going to show that document with it being named inside that folder. And there it is. And it'll take a minute for it to get the name as well. So, and my Wi-Fi is way slow today, so I apologize for that. So you can do it through Docs if you want as well, create a new document. But I just generally would rather do it through here. And then if I want to do the templates, I just kind of go to the drop down there. That way I can organize my files better. Okay, so there it is, the practice for the YouTube series. I'm going to go over here. Now, you can also use Word documents. So let's say, like I said, you can upload anything that you want. I'm going to go back to another folder here and show you how to work with a document that's not recognized. And this may be a video that you have to do for your students. If they open something that totally is not of the Google format, like this one is, they can't type on it. I'm clicking, I'm trying to type, and I can't. It's basically just making a mess of things here. So this one's actually a pretty good example in this folder because I can choose several different options in here because they have some Excel spreadsheets and some PowerPoints as well. So if I open that, it's going to be a PowerPoint. And this would be the same thing if you gave it to your students. It's fine if you just want them to view it and look at it, but if you want the students to add something to a slide, you're going to have to make it a Google slide for them to be able to edit on their Chromebooks or device that you've given them. Okay, so when I open this Word document and I want someone to fill this out, I want the students to fill it out, I'm going to have to make it or convert it to a Google Doc. So I'm going to open with Google Docs, and then I'm going to see how much the formatting has been messed up. It looks like it's pretty good, not bad. So now I have this document that is still called .doc, but when I go back to the NWOET folder, it will show that the Word document is still there, the original document that I had, and the new Google Doc that it converted it to. So I'm going to, now I can go in here, and it's probably going to be a little weird, shady with some of the formatting because Word tools into the Google tools sometimes don't work very well together. So you may have to edit this a little bit to help your students be able to fill it out. But it looks like for the most part, if I just want them to type, those things are fine. But when it comes to objects like this line up here, you might struggle with some things a little bit. All right, so I'm going to show you some classroom things after a bit. And boy, I'm saying things a lot, so I'm going to try to avoid that. But I'm going to go back here and go to my drive because I want everything organized. I still have the folder that I created down here. I could also search for that folder if I wanted to. Probably would save time. The testing YouTube series has the practice for YouTube series in there. Okay. Now, I also, maybe I want to move this to my testing area. So I can click that move. I can also star it. But I want to move it to my drive. It was in the NWOET folder, so I'm going to move it down to the testing folder. Okay. And then I'm going to hit move. So it is going to organize it. Those are the words that they use, and move it into a different folder. If it's not supposed to be taken out of that folder, for instance, if it was shared with certain people, it'll warn you of that and it'll tell you that basically it has been moved and you're going to take away the permissions from people. All right, so now let's learn a little bit about the Google Doc, how you would type in it. It's similar to Microsoft Word. A lot of people aren't truly fond of some of the differences between it. If they're an avid Microsoft Office user, if they like Word, then they might struggle with some of the research tools that are available in here, or the, margin, paragraph, hanging, indents, that kind of stuff. So, but for the most part, everything's kind of the same. You have all of your open, new kind of things. Make a copy is super important for you if you're sharing documents with other people and information that you shouldn't be altering, so you can make a copy for yourself and make those changes to it. Your edit menu is kind of the same thing. You also have your shortcut keys of your Control X or your Command X if you're on a Macintosh like I am, copy, paste. All of those things will allow you to do things a little bit quicker. The view, and Google Docs has 3 different views. If you have it in just view mode where you want people to look at it, if you want to edit it and you're editing it, or if you want people to add suggestions, you put it in suggestion view. Now the thing about that is you're not changing the copy like you would be in editing. You're not editing it, you're suggesting edits for people to consider. The one thing that I'll show you now and then at the end is the version history. You can see when and what students have contributed, especially if they're collaborating on it. So if I go in here, the only thing you're going to see so far is that I created it. There's nothing in there. So I'm going to go back. And as soon as I start typing, and then I go back to File, Version History, you can see that I made a change at certain times. So this is what I did at 10:05, and this is what I did at 10:12. And if there were other students logged in using it, you would see their names. Since I'm the only one in here, you're just going to see my name editing things. So a couple of the basic things that your students will need to know how to do is just formatting text. So I can change sizes. You can also highlight. Oops, highlight it first. There you go. And you have your ... so you can do a lot of other things with alignment, bullets, numerals, indents. And then a lot of times I'll use the clear formatting for all the text, especially if I'm copy and pasting something within this document and I want everything to be uniform. But I also can Command A, which is select all, and then I could make everything bold, everything italic. I could make everything clear of any formatting that I've done. Okay, now, so basically you want students to do text, you want them to type things, you may want them to number a list, give 3 reasons, create an outline for your paper. But the other thing that you can do from here, from this menu, is you can also upload pictures from your computer. We can look for photos through one of the G Suite apps. It's going to take us to our Google Photos, which is another, like I said, another G Suite app that will show you all the images that I have connected from my Google account to my G Suite, and actually my iPhone. The insert file area up here, your menu, insert menu, is going to give you more options for what you want to do. I can also search the web, which is the basic one that students do. Now keep in mind, when you have certain filters and lockdowns on student devices, they can get around some of the filters through the searches within Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, that kind of stuff. So if I want this image to be used, I can click on it and then hit insert. I could have also dragged it over if I would have liked. Now that I have it in here, I can click and hold on it and then move it wherever I want and format basically the way I'd like it to be. I can even center that one. So basically the menu is up here to be able to help you format things, change colors, just do the common things that you want to do with it. Your insert also has a table that the students could insert, drawing from Google, or a new drawing. The new drawing is going to take you into Google Drawing. You can put a chart. It could be from some sheet that you've created with some data, so the students could insert that within there. You have all these options: page numbers, headers, footers, table of contents, bookmark, all that kind of stuff. And then if I'm grading this or wanting someone to help me with the revisions of this, I can add a comment. So I highlight the part that I have a problem with and I go to comment and I add it, and then on the side I can say word choice, mix up your dialogue more variety. Now, if I'm sharing this with someone, I want to move this up because you guys can't see it. If I'm working with someone, I can assign this to someone. I can say at someone in my organization, and it will allow me to assign this thing specifically to her. And then I don't want to do it because I don't want it to notify her. But then I can comment. And then when someone comes in here, they can click on that and they can see that there's a comment on the side. And that comment is going to allow me to reply or edit or change it as soon as I change it. And that comment goes away. So it is gone. The thing you're seeing run down here, this is Grammarly. That's a separate product. It's telling me when I have misspelled things. It gives me suggestions. I just use the free version and then I log in with my Google. So that is the basics of all you need to know about Google Doc formatting and typing and adding, inserting things. The students can kind of figure that out. And if you want to get more in depth, we can contact through email and I'll help you with that. But the main thing is through your LMS, you want to be able to share this. So if I want to share this with my students, just directly to one student or one colleague or one person, I would start putting their name in, and I'm going to send this directly to Adam, one of my students. Now I can do that through my learning management system also. I can do it through Google Classroom and Schoology. So if I want to share this with him, if I want, maybe he's a co-teacher, I want him to, I can send him a note, help me revise this, and then I send it to him. It will send him an email, and he has the option of editing. I could have said just comment or just view, but I want him to help me edit that. So that's the big share button. Now, if I'm in my Google Classroom and I want to share something with my students, it directly connects to your Google Drive. So when I go into classwork and I'm creating a material, one of the options is Google Drive. So I can go add Google Drive. And the neat thing about Google Classroom when revising this, it brings up my most recent stuff. So there's my practice for YouTube, and it's available for the students. This is not an assignment, it's just a material. They can only view it from here. I'm going to put it in my week 1. I can assign it to specific students, and then I'm going to post. The other way that you can use the Google Doc in Google Classroom, you can fast forward through this part if you're not a Google Classroom user. I'm going to show you in Schoology as well. There it is right at the top. I can also create an assignment. And when I add that Google Drive doc, something different comes up. Okay, so it's an assignment now. I can change it to student can view file, students can edit file. So this is everybody. Everybody can look at it, everybody can edit. But the one that you want to use for assignments, if there's something specific in here you want them to fill out, is make a copy for each student. So make a copy for each student. If you do not do this the first time, you will have to delete and start over because it's not going to happen. So there it is, my Google Doc, make a copy for each student, and then that's the easiest way for them to turn it in. Now I hit assign. And it'll pop up here in a little bit. When the students click on it, they'll be able to open their own. It'll have their name on it. There was a little bit of an issue there. I'm guessing it's an internet problem since my Wi-Fi is so horrible today. But basically, it's going to make a copy for each student. It's going to give their name. And yeah, right there it is. It will, boom, pop it up for whichever student's logged in there. And they will have a turn-in button on the Google Doc that will allow them to automatically submit it to the teacher. Okay, so now I have Schoology up. And again, if you're not a Schoology user, then you can just ignore this. But in your resources, you have an option to connect other apps. And the ones that are available are based on whatever your school admin wants to do. It's right here on the left-hand side. And one of them that is installed is Google Drive Resource. And it may bring up all my apps. It's very slow today on the Wi-Fi, but it will show everything in my Google Drive that I have. And this is a different account. And I can automatically add those into a class. So I can import this file into my resources. I can go directly to an assignment in a course, and I can connect to Google Drive and pull something from Google Drive and give it to them as an assignment as well. And the way that that looks. Add material. Add assignment. And you'll see when it finally populates this window that's ready to pop up, it'll have the Google icon, Google Drive assignment. So all I do is click on that, and then I can find it just like I had before. Okay. So now you know how to use it within your learning management system, whether it be Google Classroom or Schoology. Now we're back at my document, and there's just, I want to remind you of the version history again, and you can see exactly where I have edited throughout the time that I've been on this. I did have to hit the drop down here so you can see what happened at 10:18, 10:16, 10:14, 10:13, so you can see all the changes that I made throughout. I can restore a version. It will always keep any versions that you've done, but you'll have to restore to that version. So you'll have to go into the revision history or the version history to be able to change that. And the last thing that I want to show you is that you can download this as other documents. So you can download it as text. Rich text format means that anyone can open it in any editor. It won't be missing a lot of the pretty formatting that you made. Word document. And then the other one that's important is a PDF. It will lock it down, like everything, layers, pictures, the whole bit will be locked down into a PDF format, and then you could email it to others. You can also email as attachment directly from your Google Doc menu here. And the only thing I always forget is that if I want to change it to landscape from portrait, you do that in your file page setup. That's kind of a tricky thing there, and it's a lot of questions I get about that one. So yeah, that's Google Docs. I probably went into more detail than I needed to, but those are the basics of using text and inserting, and then also understanding the Google Drive format of organizing things, using that Google Drive as a sharing point. Let me show you one more thing here, apologize. But also anything that you put in Google Drive has a link associated with it now. So if I right click on it and say get a shareable link, I can share it directly with someone, just like I showed you with the blue dot within it. So like just like this blue dot, I can share directly, but I also can share here and get a shareable link. Turn that on and it says anyone at NWOET. Well, I want to share it with someone outside of NWOET, so I'm going to hit those share settings down at the bottom, and I'm going to change it to fit exactly what I want for that person that I'm sending it to. Okay, so really important way of using Google Drive to give people a link to a video, give them a you know, this is kind of nice to have this shareable link to an audio file if you don't have the option of uploading it directly. Okay, so I appreciate you hanging out with me and checking out Google Docs and learning a little bit about Drive and how you connect that to Google Classroom or Schoology. And you know, if you have any questions, I'm going to include my email on the video, and I'm also going to include it within the description on the YouTube channel. All right, so it's been a pleasure. I will see you in the next video.